and you'll find something different.
Hey everyone who isn't watching, welcome back to Roll Initiative.
Welcome to the void.
Welcome back. We're on game 4 at this point, right? And we're session 4 of the first game, and we're ready to get things rolling tonight. We're again down one player, and it looks like we might be down that player for a little while, so we'll do some improvising and figure things out. But we'll continue to move forward with the game. A little recap of what's happening. You have entered the Dripping Caves. Upon entering, you came face to face with a giant ogre who was bathing in the mud, and you decided to go full force again into battle against him, fighting other goblins in the area, and a second ogre that came out of basically nowhere, and also joined the fight after defeating the ogre and taking damage all around in the party. You explored further into the caves, where in the back you found you ended up finding the surviving villagers of the town of Nightstone. After a little bit of chaos with some cave bats, you've pulled everybody out of the area, out of that section into the main cave, and you've just now started to talk with them. So we'll carry it on from there. So Bayoth, I believe you were kind of leading, almost always kind of leading the conversation on things. There you are, standing in the middle of everybody, dripping with caked blood that is almost dry at this point, but not quite, from the ogre heart that you had just finished, for the most part, devouring. You didn't finish all of it, and everyone else is sort of just standing around you. The townsfolk have cuts and bruises, and they're not looking great, but they're glad to be seemingly rescued at this point.
All right.
So
Yes,
a small dwarf man, stout in stature, approaches you, and he says, "That's one hell of a way to make an entrance. I don't think I would have done it that way myself, though. But any way you look at it, we thank you for helping us out."
I don't think any of us would have done it that way, except for Womp and Stick here. Small dwarf man, sir dwarf. What's
Hi,
going
the
on?
name's Marek.
Marek, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, it's been a strange few days for sure. You see, it all started a couple days ago when we were all just minding our own business in town, and suddenly from the sky, there are just stones and rocks dropping from everywhere. We gathered the townsfolk where we could, and we urged them out of the town. I led everyone here to the Dripping Caves, where I thought we'd find some peace. Instead, we were met face to face with a pack of goblins. They captured all of us and led us back into the cave. We've been sitting there for 3 days now. Every once in a while, they come in and they grab one of ours, and we don't see them since then. I assume they're feeding them to the ogres.
Yikes.
Or killing them for sport.
Oh, hold on, I have to turn off my air conditioning.
I have no idea what air conditioning is.
Sorry.
But if it helps us get out of here.
if we were to go out through the front door, is there a place nearby we can rest up quick and then get back at it and see if there's any people still trapped in the cave? We're a little weary as it is, unless you have some amazing potions that'll revitalize us.
I'm sorry.
No problems.
All we have is the clothes on our back, and I'm sure if you came from Nightstone, you'd know that the only thing between here and there is just forest.
Well, do you guys have anywhere else that you could think of where you could remain safe? Your town's been overrun by mercenaries, who intend to use it to funnel goods through the black market.
Mercenaries. Hey, this couldn't get any worse. And you hear the murmurs of everybody around the group who are just suddenly just like unsure of what they're gonna do. You know, they're seemingly out of the pan into the fire here over and over again. We don't have a choice. We're all beaten and bruised, and some of us can barely walk. We have to go back to the town. I don't know. We're looking to you. What do you think we'll do? At first, let's get out of here. If more goblins come.
I don't know. I feel like people at the town were way worse.
Worse than goblins?
Oh yeah, they had an invincible guy. We tried to kill him and we couldn't take him out. But I mean, we just killed what, 2 or 3 ogres in here, no problem.
Hey, that's amazing. I don't know. I mean, ogres though, there's nothing you can do but kill them. People, I mean, I hope we can reason with them. But if you say that's that, then I don't know. We'll have to find something.
Is there another town nearby we could take safe shelter in? Can I do some sort of check? Or...
I'm gonna whisper.
From your memory, really the only towns around are Daggerford to the south and Waterdeep to the north. But they're definitely a couple days ride from Nightstone.
Group brainstorm, everyone.
I'm thinking we just honestly make these townsfolk keep watch while we sleep for 8 hours.
The townsfolk that couldn't even defend themselves?
Yeah, they don't have to defend themselves now. They just gotta keep watch and be like, hey, something's coming, wake them up.
Looking around, you see that there are some guardsmen or some men who appeared to once be guardsmen standing around, and they all appear to be a little more beaten and bruised than the rest. Aside from that, you see, all kinds of folk, women, children, the elderly, and basically anybody who looks like they could have once defended themselves has just been like beaten to a pulp within the last few days.
Alright. Are there still weapons on the ground? Like, there's rusted and beaten up swords and stuff everywhere?
Yep. So in the center area, within the stalagmites, there are a bunch of busted and broken, rusted out weapons and whatnot.
Marin, I actually literally whispered that to you, so no one else really heard what I actually whispered to you. That's why I typed that.
I know, but don't you want to tell? I called for a group brainstorm.
Yeah, but this is
you
my.
Can always,
I'm playing my character. That's why I whispered it to you.
I'm thinking we find a part of this cave where we can just hold out. Or possibly even back in that room with the hole. And try and use some rocks to like block up the front a little bit, make it a little more defensive. And have somebody stay watch while we all kind of rest up.
Well, we can do that, or Skiff seems to remember that the mercenaries aren't going to harm any of the people. So we could, bring them back and kind of, let them, I think we could talk to them about maybe undermining the mercenaries from within. Because they don't want their town to turn into a black market.
So you want to sacrifice them? You want to sacrifice the people? That's fine. I'm into that.
Yeah, man, Mardo. You're a quiet one, but some dark stuff to say.
Hey, I'm not the one who suggested sacrificing them. That was you.
We should ask, what's his name? What we should do. The guy that's been coming around with us this whole time.
Tormund?
Tormund.
What's it? Torum? Torum.
Where is he, anyways?
He's down at the bottom with, Aga.
Yeah, last Torum had witnessed Beoff cutting open the ogre and ran out of the caves to basically from being too ill to see what was happening. And Aga went and followed him.
I'm gonna call across. Well, no, I'm not gonna call across the cave. Can I go sneak down there and find him? I'm gonna go ask Torum.
Yeah, this main area seems to be pretty quiet at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you reach the entrance to the cave, you can see Torum sort of like wiping his face and cleaning up, and Aga's just kind of patting him on the back, you know, and he's like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay.
Torum, buddy, are you okay, man?
Yeah, it was just your friends are a bit strange, a little bit more than we've seen in these parts.
Well, I'm sorry you were a little grossed out, but you know, we've got to get these people somewhere safe out of this cave. And do you remember the mercenaries talking, like, should we bring them back to Nightstone? What do you think?
So he immediately perks up and he's like, the people, you found them. That's amazing. So we've saved them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, some of them have been eaten.
That's the only option. We have to bring them back to Nightstone.
Well, you don't think the mercenaries are going to be a problem?
He looks down for a moment and thinks about it, and we have to take our chances. I mean, it's our town.
Well, if we do go back, I want you to do something for me.
Of course, anything at this point.
I want you to make sure that there's a quiet, that strong resistance, and no one gets hurt. But the place shouldn't become a hub for the black market.
I agree wholeheartedly.
You guys need to find out all you can and report back.
Absolutely. I mean, the town, it belongs to the Nanders. Whether they live or not, it'll always be their town. We'll never give it up to the black market. The Nanders.
Who are the Nanders?
They own the keep. They lived in the keep. You saw Lady Nander. She was dead from the attack.
My bad. Sorry. You're obviously grieving her loss. What and her husband didn't make it either?
No, he died 2 years ago.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to the group. Torum thinks we should take the people back to Nightstone. What say you?
I'm into it. What else are we gonna do with them? Leave them here?
Womp and stick? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, yeah, let's take them back. Everyone grab a weapon in case we get attacked along the way.
So a few of them who are able-bodied and willing, they sort of look around and they grab what they can amongst the. They grab what they can amongst the ruins and whatnot, finding, busted spear hafts and old rusted swords and what little they can. I mean, they a lot of them aren't that great at fighting to begin with, so they just take what they can. And for the most part, they see the giant dead ogres and they just avoid getting a little bit too close. But they do arm themselves, and they are looking towards the door at this point.
Alright. I say we head out then. Yeah.
And Marto, do you want to take the front?
Yeah, I'll take the front.
Chris, you want me to roll for that?
Yeah. Let's give me. Sorry, everyone. Phil sent me a little message there. What specifically are you looking for? Just like anything?
Yeah, like anything that basically can be used for spells. So like, an example of it would be like oak bark or brimstone or sumac leaves, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a Give me. Since you're in a cave, give me a nature check.
13.
I would actually like to do the same. I'm looking.
So why don't you roll as well if you guys are both looking around, and I'll take advantage on those.
Either way,
I need
13.
Micah.
So whoever rolls higher, I'll take theirs.
14.
14's higher. Okay, so so in this area in the back, you find you find this stream of water. Around it is sort of you find a lot of like mineral deposits and things. Definitely mineral heavy. There is on the back wall there is different types of like moss and fungi growing. You can't exactly, I mean, you're not just like specifically looking for anything in particular. So you just happen to notice that there's some just like, some mushrooms and some moss growing. And you do notice that it's very like mineral rich water that's in that area. You happen to notice, so the stalagmites as well are just very heavy mineral rich. There's also all kinds of like hay and loose bedding, but a lot of it is dried out in this center area, and maybe not that great. It's muddy, it's dried. Not a whole lot of resources in there. Unless you like really want to dig through and take a look at it.
Does it have orc poop in it?
It's got kind of a mix of everything. Yeah, it's
Nice.
But realistically, like back here is going to be like your only like major source. Other than that, it's just like a lot of like bedrock and just stone and gravel and whatnot.
Do I see like any brimstone at all? Out of the minerals?
Brimstone specifically?
Yeah.
I'm going to say for these purposes that you don't.
Okay. All right. I'm actually going to go to that water and I'm going to fill up my water skin.
Do I see any mica or spiders?
Mica's a good one.
I feel like I should find both in this cave, to be honest. One is there not spiders in the cave.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some spiders around. You look for a little while. Maybe like it takes you like 5 minutes of kind of searching around, but you find some. Sort of up in this ledge area, you spot like a good like cobwebby area that ends up having 2 or 3 spiders that you find. And sort of back over here, you find what kind of looks like mica.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, again, like you're just taking a general sweep of the area, but it's a very like soft. The stone is like kind of soft in that region.
No, I'm gonna crack off a piece and wait till I can see it in like sunlight, or have somebody else look at it.
Okay.
I'm whispering to Marin over here.
Oh, Sorry. Where?
That's my inventory, actually.
I just moved my character next to you. I'm basically
Oh.
whispering this into your ear.
Oh, sorry. I didn't understand what you're talking about. I thought you were.
Yeah. Basically, if I'm whispering, I am typing out a whisper to you on chat, so no one else can hear it.
And you're whispering to me in my in the game, in the role play.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is anybody else gonna be searching around in the cave? Are you gathering, leaving?
I think we're all good.
Yeah. Guys, I just want to tell you that I saw a bunch of more goblins back there. Wait, what's the big thing is the ogre. Are they goblins or are they orcs? I can't remember.
Goblins.
I saw a bunch of goblins back there, so we should, proceed with caution.
All right. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, but we should make a note of this place on our with a little X marks the spot. Maybe like in little outlines, because there might be some treasure buried here. Yar.
I'm
I'm a pirate, just FYI.
The goblins went and they took everything we had off of us.
Oh, they did. Do you think they buried it somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't been deeper in.
Shit.
And that's why I chose to whisper that to you. Yep, pirate.
Ooh. Do you think maybe all of these lovely people could just meet us outside?
I still would rather, if we could, rest.
Yeah, that's true.
Because in my direwolf form, I did smell other creatures in here meow.
Oh, there definitely are more. I've seen some more goblins hiding in a little nook.
Oh, I smelt more than goblins.
Uh-oh. Well, I
Something
never turned down a challenge.
I've never smelt before.
Alright, well, I guess we can lead these people back and take a little nappy nap. This place isn't that far away.
No, as you recall, it's like a 2-3 hour walk. It will be a little bit slower with all the people that you have,
Okay.
and managing to keep them safe, but it should be manageable.
I'm gonna pull out my treasure mind map here, because I don't think I have any paper. Well, I'm sure I do somewhere. But X.
Okay, so if we all agree, we'll head out of here and back to the town.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, we definitely should come back here.
Um,
At some point.
While we walk back, I'm gonna be searching for materials to use for spells.
Okay.
I'll roll for that once I figure out exactly what I'm looking for.
Give me half a second. Actually, I'm gonna put you all back on the caves. Give me half a second to set things up here. You can all take a bit of an intermission.
Beer break.
Beer break.
Yep.
So, how's everybody doing?
I figured out what I'm looking for,
We do it better after this rest.
and it's only like
Yeah, right.
five things.
I'm
to
pretty
do.
messed up right now.
Oh, I get so much good stuff.
Well, mind you, we are actually level 3 because we did rest before we got in here. That's what caused us to be level 3.
Thought we were level 2.
No, should be level 3.
I don't know if I did my hit points.
Neither. Phil, can you send the stream?
Yeah.
What's your thing?
There.
I'll do it on my phone. Oh, that's what. Oh, are you sure? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, James. There it is. Do-do-do-do. Boop. Are you sure? That's so weird.
Hey, what level do you get to boost like your strength and dexterity?
Level 4. It's every 4.
Back out.
Every 4 levels you get either 2 points to 1 or 1 point to 2.
Okay. So Skiff, could you give me another nature check?
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Dope.
What I'm
Good
looking
job.
for is oak bark, moonseed seeds, thorns or twigs, forked twigs, and yew leaves.
And bed up.
Yeah, I mean, you like oak bark, thorns, things like that. Absolutely easy to find. No problem. You happen to find one moonseed or one moonseed plant, and you find just a couple, like 3 seeds on it.
Okay.
And some yew as well. You basically you killed it. You found a whole bunch of that stuff. I mean, it's
Great work.
dense forest.
Eagle eye.
Yeah. And you're well adept to nature, so you're able to like, oh, that's an oak tree, and you like run off for a bit and like come back running, and then they're like, oh, briar patch, and you like run off and come back.
Do you want me to just put a bunch?
Yeah, I mean, think like a handful each. Like you're still moving. Everybody has to keep moving.
Yeah.
You're not taking any like major breaks to grab anything, so each thing is just kind of like a handful of each.
All right, so like thorns, I'm gonna put like 20. That'd be about a handful, maybe.
Yeah.
The twigs, I'll put 5, the forked ones. The leaves, I'd say 10 to 20. And
Yeah, I mean, like finding like leaves and twigs and things. Like you're in a forest, man. It's everywhere.
I'll put 15 for the yew leaves, and then oak bark, I'd say handful would be maybe 5 to 10 pieces of bark. I mean, it's just small pieces that I need. Go with 10, seeing that I got a 20.
So as you start to make the clearing and make your way towards Nightstone, things seem quiet. However, there's a bit of a gasp from everyone as they see a large pillar of smoke sort of coming up over the town. And there seems to be like a glow right in the center of town, just coming up over everything.
This is some weird cult.
But as you approach closer, you find that the drawbridge is down, and the town seems rather welcoming. At this point in the day, it is you've been basically fighting. You left early in the morning, took a walk, so you're kind of coming up around like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. So the sun is still up, but starting to get low, and you definitely see this glow throughout the town. So here you are, all of you. I didn't put the villagers in here, but assume they're all behind you. And you're all basically just approaching the town gate.
What's the dwarf's name again?
Morak.
Well, Morak, we're here.
I see. And the gates are open.
We might as well go in.
I mean, it looks like our town, so I'm right behind you. We're going in. Let's head on in.
We just need to be cautious. These mercs can be shifty.
All right. So following your lead, the Morak and the the townsfolk, and everyone else, Torum, they all start following in behind. And as you reach the drawbridge, you can see that there are two figures up top watching of what's going on, but they don't really seem to be paying any real attention to it. They all just see you coming in. One of them gives a holler back to the group in the middle, but they don't care if you come or go at this point. As the group approaches even further and makes their way across the drawbridge, sort of keeping lookouts for everything that's happening, you come to realize that the giant the pillar of smoke is coming directly from the center of town, almost where the Nightstone, within Nightstone, the big stone obelisk used to be. And it seems to be just a pile of bodies. And flames just coming up. And around it you see a handful of dark figures just standing around.
Great. They're cultists.
I could care less. I'm going over to the fucking church and grabbing a pew to go to sleep. Seeing as how it's nighttime.
Can I do something to see if they're doing like a known ritual or?
Yeah.
It's on the barbecue, mate.
Before Bayoth rolls it, or do you want to just roll in, or do you want to take a check?
I want to do a check.
Okay, so why don't you give me I guess an Arcana check, or give me a religion rather. Religion check. You're looking to see if they're a cultist or something. 14. I mean, it just seems to be like a whole bunch of people standing around a fire.
All right. Well, if they're calling up the devil, I don't want anything to do with it.
So Bayoth approaches and calls out to them, and a familiar voice calls out as one of the figures turns around. So you've survived and made it back here. Why don't you grab something from the bar at the inn and take a spot around the fire with us? We're just cleaning things up around here.
What?
I hope you don't mind. We brought the townsfolk back. Maybe they can help clean this place up for you.
Townsfolk, eh? Well, sure. I mean, let them move about, take care of their houses, but let them understand there's some new people in charge.
I like how they have like kind of a French accent, but it's like a Monty Python French accent.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. So Bayoth, as you get closer, you start to notice that like there's that's not wood that they're burning. You can see inside that it is the leftover remains of all of the goblins and the wargs and everything else. And there is some structures and busted things, but they basically just took whatever they found and specifically the bodies, and they just threw it in there and started up a bonfire. And at this point, they're just standing around, kind of getting a little bit drunk, and watching it burn.
Wait a minute. There's alcohol here now? This is what we've been searching for.
It is.
Well, I feel bad that none of these people got to do, the last rites on their families or whatever, but it's booze time.
So I'm actually gonna sneak into the herbalist's house.
So some of the townsfolk have kind of like wandered in, and they're all just sort of like, a gap at what's happening and what's going on around, and they're still quite unsure about the whole situation, but bit by bit, few of them meander off to the side and grab their kids and walk off and start to head back to their homes. I mean, at this point, they've had a really long time and really, really awful last 3 days, and some of them just want to get back back to their regular lives at this point and back to their beds. So they don't even care that this is happening in the middle of their town, or they're not happy about it, but they just want to get back home.
I'm gonna grab Torum's wrist and look at him and say, "Remember what you promised me."
He just looks you dead in the eyes and just nods. Making sure not to say anything too loud to the so anybody could hear, but he just agrees.
Meanwhile, all of this, the cat fucking person took off into the church and is now just napping. Because that's what cats do.
I think I want to have a beer, but I also really am hurting pretty bad. I think I kind of want to lie down.
All right. At this point, Morok approaches the lead, Zolkin, and he says, I don't know what's happening in this town right now, but we've all had a long travel and long last few days. You'll be sure for hearing me in the morning. And at that point, he storms off into the Nightstone Inn and pushes his way past the bandits. And before he closes the doors, he yells, "And stay away from my booze!"
Damn it. Can we go, do we have to rest anywhere in particular?
At this point, it would be a little hard to find a house that hasn't been reoccupied.
Mm-hmm.
But Skiff seems to be settled in with into the temple without much trouble. And the Nightstone Inn seems to be pretty empty.
I'm gonna follow Morok to the Nightstone Inn. I think he's got alcohol in there.
And indeed, you find him on the first floor. Hang on a second. Indeed, you find him in the first floor, just sort of like hands up in the air and starting to just stack all the busted stuff in the corner, and just slowly clean up his inn and fix up the bar that's there.
Mark, is this your inn?
Aye, what's left of it.
Well, do you mind if do you want to share a beer? We've had a long day.
Hi, lass. So have I. And he heads on behind the bar. And where's your character icon? Right here. Let's pull you over here. he heads over to the bar, and you grab a seat nearby, and he starts to rummage through some stuff, and after a minute, he gives a chuckle to himself. Oh, looks like they couldn't find the good stuff. And he pulls out this big bottle of just this dark liquid.
Yes.
And he uncorks it and gives it a big whiff. And he shuffles around and finds a couple mugs. And apologies, not much cleaner. There isn't a whole lot cleaner around here. And he pours 2 big drinks. And cheers is one for you. And he says, we would have died in that cave. It's a good thing you and your friends came along. And he takes a big swig of it.
Oh, Morak, I think you are going to be my new first mate. Cheers, buddy. I'm also going to drink my fill.
Yeah, you throw it back as well, and it's smooth. It is real good stuff, and
yes.
it doesn't take long until you are feeling just great. For all the injuries you have, and you got crushed earlier pretty bad, but you're feeling a lot better.
All of a sudden.
You might not be looking it, but you're feeling it.
Amazing. Amazing, mate.
Anyone else?
I feel real good.
I just want to
Bayoth, you said you rushed immediately to the alchemist's house. I'll give it to you. I'll give you a few minutes in there to give a quick search if you want to give an investigation.
I already searched that.
I wanna. Well, before I was looking for health potions and stuff. Now I'm looking for vitamin.
I thought I already grabbed what was in there, but
He's looking more for spellcraft stuff.
Okay. Yeah, just need that investigation check.
Oh, sorry, just trying to pull it up. It's a little slow.
In the meantime, I'm gonna head into the temple with Skiff and grab a pew and hole up there.
All you're gonna see me is me laying on one of the pews and my tail kind of wagging back and forth almost, slowly.
There you go.
Oh, kitty.
does that mean cats are mad?
No.
Bayoth, it takes you a few minutes to sort of look your way around, and it's dark in that house at that point. But after a while, you do find what you're looking for. It's a small jar on the back shelf, lined up with a whole bunch of other jars, and it has it's very dark. It has this just real viscosity. You shake it a bit, and it barely moves. It is just like a thick kind of tar substance, and you're sure that it's exactly what you're looking for.
Nice.
Yeah, so you have about a cup of it at this point.
Alright, that's plenty.
Yeah.
Only takes a drop.
But after a few minutes, you hear you start to hear voices inside, and you're not sure if they're coming into this home, this docile, or just walking by at this point. But you definitely hear some people around.
Then I'm gonna book it to the bar.
All right, I'll move your character down there. It's a little easier.
At this point, I'm kind of swaying on whatever stool that I've got left, and asking Markarth, do you want to play some cards?
There aren't many tables left over, Lass, but I got some work I got to do.
How are you not wasted right now?
Oh, that's my secret.
You're always wasted.
Fill your
And you can see him kind of he's drinking with you, but busy. He's got stuff to do. He's cleaning up his bar.
Phil, your audio's jacked up.
But he's always making sure that glass starts to get a little empty. He comes by and fills.
You're a good man. I really appreciate you.
He takes a glance over at you, and
Drunk
after a
ass.
while, he reaches into a cupboard in the back and pulls out a key and tosses it to you and says, "Top of the stairs to the left," and then goes back to his busy work.
Hey, Chris, you might want to stop the cave sounds. They're still playing.
They are?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, the cave sounds.
God, that's been playing since the last time I said it.
Well, you can like barely hear it.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So he throws you a key and tells you, it's to the room upstairs.
You're not inviting me back to your place tonight.
Aye, God no. Mine's on the right side with a giant hole in it.
Okay. And I'm gonna stumble awkwardly up the stairs and pass out, either on the floor or whatever is left of any furniture.
Yeah. So you get up there and you fumble with the key for a while in the lock, and eventually get it. And you open it up, and it's just your standard in room. Bed in the middle, a table or a desk and a chair and a wardrobe in there, and all of it seems to be furnished pretty nicely. Along the eastern wall is a big tapestry, beautiful view of the mountains, and you basically stumble your way over to the bed and just lie down on it, and you're just out. You're done for.
Sounds great.
Bayoth, who had just approached as he saw you, get the key and finish your drink and head up the stairs, is now making his way towards the bar.
You're on mute, buddy.
You gotta quit muting yourself.
Sorry. I'm just gonna pound down a few drinks, and then I'm gonna quickly run upstairs and ask Marin if she's up for a game of cards before bed.
Yeah, so you approach the bar, and Morak kind of gives you a sideways glance, and he says, "Aye, lad, I think you could use yourself a bath. I don't know what you boys got yourselves into, but
orc poop.
You're looking a bit ragged."
They're covered in orc poop.
And he makes sure he grabs you and pours you the same drink that he made for Marin. And he's like, "I'm serious, lad. You gotta clean yourself. That's some nasty stuff. You want me to draw you a bath or something?"
That sounds good. And I toss him a gold coin.
He takes it and sets it on the back of the bar. I better get on that. And he heads upstairs. Or he heads to the back room, rather. I'm sorry, not upstairs. He heads to the back room. And you can hear some pans shifting around and stuff. And he's back there for a little while. Sounds like he's starting a fire. You see light flickering underneath the door frame after a while. And it seems like he's heating up some water for you.
Nice.
So after about 20 minutes, he comes back out with 2 large pails, and he heads upstairs, and he goes up and you hear some noise for a minute. And then comes back down and he grabs some more pails and heads back up. And finally, he comes back down and he pours you another drink, and grabs another key from the cabinet that he had before. Puts it down in front of you, and he says, "As I told the last lass, we wouldn't have made it out there if it weren't for you folk. And from the looks of you, it wasn't easy. So here's a room upstairs. It's all the way in the back. You'll find yourself a nice hot bath in there, and a bed to sleep in for the night."
Well, thank you kindly. And don't go spreading it around, but we'll be dealing with those guys outside and getting them out of your town pretty soon.
Aye, if it ain't you, it's me. You don't need the folks like that hanging around.
Well,
And with that, he goes back to his busy work. So at this point, most of you have basically packed in for the night. Beath, presumably you finish up your drink and you go up and you have your bath. Clean yourself up a bit. Aga as well finds her way into the temple and finds a spot sort of in the back. And whispers to you guys before she heads. You guys aren't so bad, but I'm not sure this is what I was looking for. And then turns away and heads to sleep. So at this point, you've all had a long rest. You basically sleep through the night, mostly interrupted. You wake up every once in a while in the temple to the sounds of just some hooting and hollering outside and some general ruckus from the fire. And the folks inside the inn, you're pretty much passed out through the whole night, except for one occurrence when you hear Morak just shout out, "Get the fuck out of here! I told you not to come in here." As you hear some rattling of bottles and some people running out the front door again. But for the most part, it's no one's bothering you, nothing's happening. So all of you can go ahead and I'll say you've all rested well enough to gain your health back. No one disturbs you. You just sleep through a lot of it through the night.
Yay.
And at this point, you have all reached level 3.
My hit point maximum is 21. Is that right?
Have you rolled for your... Yeah, so we need to roll for all of our new hit point maximums.
Okay. What do we... Oh.
Skiff rolled perfect. D8. Don't forget, I'm going to say 5 is the lowest roll. So everybody roll your...
Actually,
need to.
I didn't roll perfect. I got a 7, but it's +1 because of your constitution.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. Oh, there it is.
That's perfect right there.
Dope.
There you go.
Wait, what?
Hit your hit dice. Just click on hit dice.
So we're taking that number and adding it to our hit point maximum?
Yeah, but yours is going to be 5 because it's a
Okay.
minimum of 5.
And our hit points have reset to maximum, right? Because we've taken a long rest?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're getting, for all the spellcasters, you should be getting all your spell slots back.
Ooh.
Ooh, and I get my wild shape back.
I just got booted.
Yes, you did.
It's weird. I must press something.
Other than spells and hit points, is there anything else we need to update for level 3?
It depends on your class, but you might get a feature. You should be getting more spell slots if you're a spellcaster.
Yeah, I actually already have all my level 3 spells in there because I thought we were level 3 already.
And the other thing is you can when you take a long rest, once you're done with a long rest, you can sit there and ready different spells if you want.
Gotcha.
Correct, yeah. So you only have certain spells that you can actually play at a time. So whatever spells you think you'll need for the event for the next day, you can go ahead and practice. Okay, so it's about morning time. The sun is starting to come up, and you all start to slowly rise in your different areas, and greet the morning in your own way. All of the the spellcasters start to think about the spells for their day and what they're doing, and you all just do your basically like your morning constitutions as you all get up. Everyone within the temple is a little bit stiff from sleeping sort of in the cleared pew areas and everything, while those who are in the inn are actually feeling quite better rested than the others.
Brisk.
So it's on you guys.
All right. Sorry.
I'm literally just chilling by the gate, like my back against the gate, just kind of leaning on it.
I just want to do a quick check in my room here to see if there's anything interesting.
Okay, give me okay, trying to get a couple things here all at the same time.
Oh, sure. Take your time.
Never mind on mine.
Okay, Bath's got it figured out. And Mardo, your meta magic is I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Marin, you can just give me a quick perception check. You're just looking around. 22, yeah. You search sort of like high and low through the room just to see what's around. Again, it's empty desk, empty furniture, but it's all prepared there and nice looking stuff, all ready for anybody to stay there at any time. The sheets that you wake up on are a very nice but well used sort of fabric.
Nothing behind the tapestry.
The tapestry, no, nothing behind it. It's just hanging adorned on the wall. You do notice that it is just a very, very good quality. That it is seemingly like I don't know how to say an original art piece, but like it's hand woven tapestry. You do happen to look behind your nightstand and you find a 10 silver piece behind just lying on the floor underneath as you move it around.
Sweet. I'll add it to my piggy bank.
And Marta, what are you what is it again?
The
Meta magic. I just don't know where to put it in the character sheet.
Meta magic, it's going to be under your feet. Basically what it is you get to choose 2 of like a list of different like add-ons to your spells, basically.
Right. Okay.
But
I just didn't know if it went into like a slot that I would like, click on, or if I just say I'm going to use this meta magic characteristic with this spell.
Yeah, it's basically you're just using whatever the 2 that you pick added to the spell. So it's
So I would
nothing
just say like I'm gonna cast this with whatever meta magic.
So
add-on.
like if you're doing like let's say adding subtle spell to the spell, basically you're gonna be using a sorcery point, which you should see like above your feat list. There should be like
Yeah,
a
I have
benefit.
3 as of this level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just take away 1 from there, and you basically don't need to do either somatic or verbal components to the spell.
Yeah, so you just grab 2 of these now. You pick 2 of those meta magics now and just add them into your features and traits section.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and just remember to bring them up whenever you're casting, because you can choose one of those and take the bonuses or requirements from them whenever you're casting spells.
Okay, cool.
Like pretty much a lot of the stuff that people get from leveling, you're just basically adding it to your feet and.
So Bayoth, you hear someone shuffling around the room on the other side, and sort of like moving furniture and knocking stuff about, and it sort of like wakes you up along with the warmth from the morning sun coming through your window.
I get up to investigate the noise.
Heading into the hallway, you see that, you hear that it comes from the diagonally across from you.
Well, I go pound on the door and say, "You ready to go?"
Just give me a minute. Let a girl get ready first.
Well, I'm gonna head down to the bar then. And I'm gonna ask the man if he has any incense he could spare.
So as you come down, Morak is sort of like polishing the bar top, and it is like totally clean. And the downstairs is I know in the image here you still see the boulder, but the place has basically been cleared out. There is a neat pile of all of the lumber from the tables and things over in the corner. There's still very much a hole through the ceiling. But it seems like he basically like spent the night just clearing out the room and making it look somewhat presentable again. There are a couple tables and chairs that survived, and he's basically like stacked them up in the middle of this somewhat empty room at this point. And you look at him, and even though he seems to have spent the entire night cleaning, he's still seemingly still pretty fresh and gives you a nod when you come down and greets you in the morning. As for the incense, Eyelash, this is an inn, not an apothecary. You'll be searching someplace else for that.
I'll have to go back to the herb man's house. Actually, do you know if the guy who runs the apothecary, is he still alive? Did he survive?
Yes, that couple, the oops, sorry, looking in the wrong place. That'd be the Summerhawks. A couple of halflings. They sure they both made it. Thank the Lord they came out alive. I'd try over there. The house right behind there's the Agonor residence. They couple of tieflings back there. Good folk, sure. But a little more into the darker side of things. You might find your incense with them.
Wait, where the darker people, or are those the same people from the apothecary?
He said behind the apothecary, so
this one?
That house there, yes.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna head over there then. Thanks for the tip.
Hi. Anybody else stirring awake at this point?
Yeah, I'm gonna Head downstairs.
All right.
Say hi to Morath. What's his name again?
Morak, Morak. You kind of catch the same scene as Bayoff did a minute ago.
Morak. Thanks for the
Hi,
good
Les.
time.
Anytime.
I hope you get this place cleaned up, but I just wanted to say that if you hear anything, whispers from these mercs out there, you let me know.
Oh, don't you worry, be worrying about me, lass. I'll have this place cleaned up soon enough. Just need to find me some lumber to patch the roof. And as for them other folks, they'll be finding their time. Don't you worry.
I'm just gonna give him a nod and head outside.
Okay. Both Bayoff and Marin. Bayoff sort of just took off into his own area. Marin, as you come outside, you find
There we go.
just simply like a pile of ash at this point. The fire has died down. It burned through the night, and it's still some smoking embers. A lot of the fat and bone sort of remains like burning heavy. But for the most part, it's pretty much died out, and it's just this big pile, like circle in the middle of the place. The bandits seem to be gone for the most part, except for their leader Zulkin, who stands to the side there. In the morning, again, he looks to be fine, and is taking a sip from a flask, and he just nods your way as you approach.
You would also see me by like the towers, and like Rilix kind of like sitting there trying to hunt something. You would hear kind of like a small animal sound coming from an area around the towers. Because basically what I was doing was I was casting Druidcraft, creating animal sounds, and having Rilix try to hunt them.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're over by the towers here.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the two guards up in the tower just take a peek over to see what you're doing and keep an eye on you. But for the most part, no one's paying you any real attention.
What's Enmardo up to?
I'm just waking up.
And
Hold on.
as you start to move around, you wake up to this little scratching sound as Lepus is hopping around, just moving around, sniffing about, and looking basically for something to eat within the temple, but not finding much other than broken wood and whatnot. Aga happens to be still in the corner, still passed out, and just curled up in a for her small stature, just curled up into a small ball.
All right. So, do you have the crazy people that I need to see, or do they make it?
Yeah. So as you approach the home, it's a pretty small cottage, as much of the rest of the town is. The entire place, the shutters seem to be closed up and locked up. It seems to be kind of like closed off from the compared to the rest of the cottages that are here. It doesn't look like at any point there was any damage done to it, or that like it had been really basically untouched through the entire process. And along the door frame, as you get closer, along the door frame is a very ornate and somewhat decorative set of runes that are just going around the door.
Can I do like an arcane check to see what the runes mean?
Sure. So using Arcana, you understand that that it's not just simply decorative. That it's written in Infernal, the Infernal language.
So I know the Infernal language.
Seeing as though your perception was so high on that, you also notice that the front door has a relatively large padlock on it. And there seem to be some pretty clear and visible scrapes on it, as well as a couple knife marks in the door itself. But the door is pretty thick and heavy. It looked like something had recently tried to break its way in, but had no luck whatsoever.
I would like to simply walk up and knock on the door.
Sure. Yeah. So you give it a good knock, and you wait for a moment, and you hear some shuffling around on the inside, and eventually the locks sort of like clink around and everything, and the door slowly peers open, and there you see a tiefling woman's face peering out at you. Her skin is kind of like a dark blue, almost like a cobalt. And she looks out and she says, "Oh, it's you. What are you looking for?"
I was hoping that you might have some charcoal, herbs, and incense I could purchase off you. I need it for a ritual.
She sort of looks at you for a moment, and her eyes narrow, and she nods her head. Come in. She opens the door a little bit further, and lets you inside. And when you get in, you notice that everything is sort of dark, and there's a lot of like lit candles and things. And you can smell just this heavy sense of incense and other scents throughout the house. Other than that, though, it appears to be just like a basic living space for these people. But it's definitely a little bit. They're definitely more of a personal group, and everything is a bit darker than normal. You see her go to the back of the room and start to shuffle through a couple drawers and collect some things, and grab a cloth and lay them out on the cloth. And as you do that, you see an older tiefling through the back door in one of the bedrooms, sort of standing there in the archway, just kind of staring at you. His skin a little bit more greener than blue, as he just watches you with crossed arms and stares at what's happening. The woman eventually collects a handful of things into this sack, this cloth that she bundles up and hands it over to you. And she says, we owe you our lives, so I'm more than willing to give you these things. Within the sack, you find 6 sticks of incense, sort of charcoal is like there's about 8 pieces of charcoal in there, and there's just like a random assortment of herbs that essentially would equate to a healer's kit, or an herbalist kit rather.
Does it include a brass browser? Or here, hold on a sec.
Brazier? No.
Razor. Can I ask her if I could possibly loan one of hers, or if she has one? Small one.
Travel brazier.
Right.
She looks to the male tiefling and sort of nods her head at him, and he, gives this like stern look, like what? But then eventually like gives up and goes off and into the room that he's in. And you can hear some clanging around and stuff, and then eventually he comes out, and he has this bowl that's maybe 8 inches in diameter. Not terribly ornate, but still not very basic. It's more than a bowl, and he approaches and hands it to her first before she hands it off to you.
Alright. I thank them and ask them if there's anything I could do for them for all their hospitality.
What you've done, saving us and the rest of the folk from the caves, is more than enough. And never mind my son here. He's been through some rough times lately. Please let us know if there's anything else we could do for you. Otherwise, we're all set here.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm gonna head out or towards like the front of the church and kind of wait for everybody.
Okay.
And while
Approaching, you see the same scene in the center of the Marin and Zolkin are standing there, sort of staring at the ashes of what's left. You see Skiff playing with relics, and that's about all that's going on outside.
Zoltan. Still looking like an underwear model. What do you
His
have?
name is Zolkin. Kin.
Yeah, but
Zoltan.
Zoltan just has a really good ring to it, don't you think? It's almost like you're a wizard.
He just chuckles you off and goes back to staring. How long do you plan on staying in this town?
Well, I don't know, my friend. How long do you
like
plan
yours,
on staying in this
could
town?
offer you some work.
Work?
Plenty to be done.
What are you looking to do?
Oh, this and that.
Specifically?
We will know more once the others have arrived.
What others?
Well, when we had the town, we sent off. We sent word that it was now ours. We should see some companions show up in a day or two.
Companion sounds interesting. Anyone we'd know?
Hopefully not. These sorts, they keep to the shadows.
You bring a little cryptic for my liking, Zoltan.
That's how these 7 snakes like to keep things. It's simply who we are.
The 7 Snakes? Is that the name of your gang? Posse? Your frat?
He just nods.
Your what?
His band. We are the 7 Snakes.
Death metal band.
He just nods to you.
It just nods. They sound slippery. Are there really 7 of them?
You can count if you'd like. We almost had only 6.
Yeah, but you took that invincibility potion and
And he just gives a wink. So, some of you are paying attention.
I kept a journal and everything, Zoltan.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
Kella a 7th snake? One of the 7 snakes?
Aye, she is.
What's your goal? Like, what is your goal with all this?
We've reached our goal.
You
Take over the next one.
and then you move on to the next one?
No, we'll be here for a while. Establish a base, understand the front, and take orders when we get them.
Mhm. So your next orders are coming in soon, eh?
In a few days.
Interesting. Well, I can talk to the group and see if they're interested in work, but I can't promise you anything.
Go and talk. See what they say.
Gonna move on from Zoltan drinking his coffee. Head over to Ann Mardo and Bayoth.
At this point, Aga has started to waken up and has moved out with the rest of you.
Alright, so what'd that guy say to you, Marin?
Does anyone know who the 7 snakes are?
No.
Well, that's who they are. He and Kella are part of the 7 snakes, and they're awaiting orders for their next move. They've offered us some work, which I'm a little skeptical about.
Well, we should possibly do that. And I was thinking we could also possibly go back to that cave and see if we can get those goblins before they move out.
Yeah, there might be buried treasure in there too.
We could even offer the guy to wait on the job while we take care of that. See if maybe he can loan us a horse too. We'll bring him back something.
Any other opinions? Skiff? Oh. And Mardo?
Yeah, I think we should go back to the cave.
Skiff?
So we could always
Yeah.
I'm over by the thing, just training with the relics. Or trying
Skiff!
to- What?
Come on. Come over here right meow.
Listen here, meow. Relics needs its training.
Do you want to go back to the cave?
I've been waiting for all of you.
Oh my god.
Alright. I'm gonna go back to this guy real quick. And tell him, hey, there's a cave with a bunch of loot nearby from the townsfolk. We're gonna go back to get it for them, keep some stuff for us, keep some stuff for you. But we wanna know if we can borrow a horse and a cart.
Kind of looks at you sideways for a minute. There are leftover horses in the stable. Take what you need.
Sounds good. Once we get back, we'll discuss some work with you.
Okay.
Alright.
Where are the stables?
Aha.
We found them.
Let's say it's down here. Nope, over there. Alright, I can go over here, grab a horse, hitch to this cart right here, and then bring it back to the group.
Okay. I've opened up inside the stables. You find another caretaking for all of the riding horses in the front. When you come in looking for a horse, he basically points to the ones in the back, the draft horses that are there. And as you have to maneuver them basically around this boulder that has crashed through the roof. But you eventually pull a horse out.
Alright, cool.
And there's a cart seemingly abandoned, unused out front. It's not large, it's a single horse cart. So the draft horse that you have should be able to pull it. It won't be easy heading back through the woods. There isn't like a clear defined road, but there is sort of a path. So bringing this cart will slow you down a bit.
All right.
So instead of a couple hours, it would take like 4 hours to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well bring it in case we find something, but to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going like up a mountainside too much, but like you're pushing through the woods. So there's a couple times when you're gonna have to like get behind it and shove it forward.
Can the horse not drag it?
I mean, it can, but it's through brush. It's through
Oh, there's no path.
tight woods and
See if
areas.
we can enlist a couple of townsfolk.
Dude, who cares? It's going a 4-hour trip.
Yeah, it would be cool. Unless that magic rabbit there can teleport it.
Yeah, I don't think he can teleport things. He is just a rabbit.
He doesn't have magical powers?
No, he's just blue.
Oh, well, how can he understand everything you're saying then?
We have a special connection.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So you grab the horse. You start to collect your things. You notice, however, that as you start to pack up, you're seemingly one short. Aga seems to hang back and slowly just make her way back into the temple as you're all getting ready to leave.
Aga, girl on fire. What are you up to?
I think I'm gonna sit this one out.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is exactly what I signed up for at this point. You guys, you seem to have some ways of doing things that are a little more, a little more exciting than I'm used to. It's all right. I think I'm gonna hang back here, and I'll keep an eye on things.
All right. Well, let us know what happens, and if you can, try and keep an eye on the Seven Snakes and what they're up to.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Was it Bayok's dumb prayer wheel?
No, that's the prayer wheel's fine. I'm used to those. I'm from a religious background. I'm good here. I'm just good here. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get back.
It is a little dumb. All right. It's not the prayer wheel, but okay, bye.
All right.
Off to the cave.
So the team again collects the horse. Let's put the horse out front. Did I lose Marin here? Sorry, I'm setting up the next location. Obviously, some things have changed. You've been gone for about a day and a night. or overnight. Basically, you've been gone. Just a moment. And heading through the woods, again, it's kind of rough terrain pushing this cart through, but you keep it moving along. Bayoth is happy to have this cart and happy to push along. Well, some of you are not exactly sure why you brought it with you, as you push it through the mud and everything else going up the rocks. But eventually you make it to the cave entrance again, and you find your way back up there. It's, again, not too far away, and you find yourself in that familiar same spot where it's just kind of looking into the cave again. So give me a second, and there you are.
All right, boys. Who's gonna lead the way? Wait, is Bayoth the only one without dark vision?
Yeah. Do I still have that torch from last time?
No, the torch has been used up at this point.
Does anyone have an extra torch or lantern?
I'll
I
toss
have a
him.
lantern.
I think
I'll
I have a
toss him.
torch.
I'm tossing him one of my torches,
All right.
and I'll light it with druid craft.
So again, you stand in the about 20-foot wide, 12-foot high cave mouth, looking into the darkness. Again, on either side, the hill sort of rolls up along and heads up on either side. To the left and the right, there's slightly dense forest as the hillside starts to come up around this cave. You are where you were. So, Bayoth, are you lighting the torch that you just had?
Yep.
Okay. You can see that circle, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Should we go left or right?
Well, there's definitely goblins to the left. I already determined that when I was stumbling around.
If I move up to this and kind of like hide into here, do I see any movement anywhere in the massive cavern?
Yeah. So as you move into there, you don't specifically see any movement, but you do notice that all of the bodies that were there before, aside from the ogres, which are just these heavy masses just lying there, and they're starting to bloat at this point and starting to smell. Even if you could think that there's some worse smell than an ogre, you have found it.
Dead ogre.
But otherwise, all of the other bodies have been cleared out.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember? Because I just remember it be goblins, and then was it one other thing that I couldn't recognize the smell towards the west side of the cave?
Yep. So, I mean, I'll give you a little bit of hint. You could definitely smell goblins in this region, and there's something else sort of to the east that you didn't quite understand.
Which direction should we go?
I don't like
I'm
not
up-
knowing anything. I'm
I'm
gonna
up for right.
creep up to the edge.
Not really knowing, yeah.
I'm creeping up the edge right here, and I'm gonna peek in.
We're gonna follow in a weird little line.
Okay.
You guys guess it would be the same.
You see, it's not terribly tight, but you see this tunnel that just kind of leads in even further in. You can see about 30 feet down, and it's all just still tunnels heading down there.
All right, I want to creep to this first turn. And
Okay.
basically lean across, like peek around the corner.
Yes, you notice that it starts to curve around this rock area here.
No, Bath, don't go that way. You got a big light.
And I will peek around this corner.
Okay. As you peek around, you see the cave start to open up a bit, and sort of a not a huge room, maybe about 15 foot wide, and it just has same as the middle of the room before. There's just a small grouping of stalactites through the area.
Is it big enough to hide in?
And Marta, you and I wait out here for a minute.
There happens to be one larger stalactite, sort of in the middle, that's bigger than the rest. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot to hide around.
Can I? It's like right there. Kind of like lean against the wall and peek in.
Yeah.
Catch this. Okay.
Yeah. So you see some more of the room. And again, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot going on.
What's this right here?
Can you flash?
This.
Oh, just heavy concentration of rocks, but it's still an open way.
I'm gonna sneak in and get behind the staglight to see down the rock.
Okay. So as you sit around the stalagmite, you see that this hallway or this area leads further down. But while you're up against a stalagmite, you happen to notice that it's a little bit different than the rest. There's a lot of like it's not exactly porous, but there's like a lot of holes in it. Like it's
like something could live in it.
Well, it's more of like there's just like a lot of deep fissures, or not fissures exactly, but just holes like leading into the middle of the stalagmite.
Kind of like what you would see for like an ant colony.
Yeah, almost. But I mean, like, it's still wet. It's still rock. There's nothing like different than the rest of the stalagmites. But there is there's just a lot of holes in it. Each hole is maybe like 5 inches wide in diameter.
Okay. I'll sneak up to the edge and peer around there.
Okay. As you get closer, you start to hear dripping, and as you look in, there's another opening with what appears to be like a tiny waterfall and a pool of water on the inside.
Slowly but surely move up against that wall. And
Okay.
peer around.
Yeah, that area seems to just open up and and just kind of you see a high concentration of mushrooms actually lightly glowing in the darkness that is sort of just collected against this back wall here. There's like a small 5 foot wide field of them just growing there.
You want me to roll perception and try and see if I can't sniff out that smell I smelled before that I couldn't tell what it is?
It's up to you. Yeah. Your perception check.
Jesus Christ, it's 6.
Yeah, so you can't, you don't seem to notice anything specifically odd about this area. You seem to think that everything is okay. And as you're peering around and looking at the room in here, I'm going to ask real quick, what is your armor class?
14. However, I have one other question before you say something.
Okay.
Rillix, A, can detect invisibility, and he can detect poison without really having to do a check. Did he at all freak out?
Give me a perception check according to...
He gets a nat 20, so 25.
So as you're moving through the area, he seems incredibly agitated. There's something that he just does not like about the situation that's going on right here, and is very, very upset.
So, like, in that area or in this area?
More towards this area.
What area? I didn't see a circle.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either.
You seen that?
No.
No.
With that?
Nope.
Wait, am I in the wrong layer? I am in the wrong layer. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh boy.
So there's nothing to worry about in here. There is something to worry about in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, his full attention is definitely in the back of that cave and around this corner that you had just turned around, and you can't exactly see what's going on down there.
I want to draw my attention to where he's, like, worried about.
Okay, so as you look around this corner, you happen to see, like, you basically catch it just as you look around the corner.
Oh boy.
This just large, dark form, this just, like, anamorphous form, slowly crawling its way down the cavern and making its way towards you.
Oh my god, does it use its arms as legs?
Do I hear
It is more a thick tar that doesn't seem to have arms or legs, but it is like, it like reaches out with this like glove and like grabs a rock and pulls its shape towards and grabs out with another one and another one over to the side, and is just slowly creeping and slithering its way towards and filling up basically this entire region of the exit, and just taking over it as it's making its way towards Skiff.
As soon as I see it, I'm basically, I clap my hands, speak a couple of Druidic words, and basically cast Thunderwave towards it.
Tell you what, roll for initiative.
Oops. It's a 7. I keep forgetting to click on my dude.
all of us or just him?
Just him at this point. He's the only one that has spoken up in this scenario. So you go to clap, but this thing just reaches out at you first and takes a swipe at you. And it is definitely a hit at this point. Dealing 4 bludgeoning damage and 6 acid damage to you. So I'll give it the small opportunity for everybody else to, like, again, you don't know what's happening. It's been very quiet. You saw Skiff walk off into this cavern here. I'll give it a moment for everybody else to decide what they're doing. But I'll remind you all that, like, you don't know. You're not there. You're not in that room.
We haven't heard from Skiff in a while. We should go check on him.
Would they even hear me hiss from the hit?
I thought I heard a clap echo through the hole.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
You guys, can I just say, you guys are terrible at role playing this.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, so I'm gonna. All right, in that case, if you guys
that bad.
roll in and approach it, then I'm gonna say, Skiff, go ahead and take your turn.
again. Clap. Thunderwave.
Okay.
DC 12 Constitution save.
Yep. Yeah, you definitely hit it. I mean, this is just a large amorphous blob, like a tar-like blob. There's plenty of space around, and it's all around. So you definitely deal damage to it.
Well, I'm guessing he failed.
Yeah, he fails.
All right, so he's taking 8 thunder damage, and he's also pushed 10 feet away from me.
Okay, oops. So you hear this, like, this strange, like, hissing sound, almost like air escaping pockets as it recoils and gets thrown back, further, like, you just see it sort of, like, get thrown through the cave and pushed back 10 feet. And you just hear this, like I said, the hissing sound, just like air escaping, like.
And yeah, hey, I'm gonna move up to there. So I'm just moving 5 feet, and as a bonus action, I'm casting Healing Word on myself.
Okay.
To heal for 3.
Okay. So as Bayoth rounds this corner, he sees, like, the tail end of this, like, tar-like sludge, and you hear the loud, thunderous echo through the entire caves. I mean, this thing was loud and just piercing, almost shake through the entire place, followed only by the sounds of bats shrieking in the next cave over, just going wild again. But you see this form, and you see it, like, come crashing back like a wave into the room. And in that same instant, it slowly starts to just creep its way back into these holes within this stalagmite, and it just sort of sucks its way back in every hole and corner you can see, and it pulls itself back in until at some point it's just completely gone and out of sight.
I'm gonna move up to Bayoth and hiss at him. What's going on?
I just saw some liquid tar monster climb into a rock.
Shit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And Marto?
What do we know about tar monsters? How do we deal with them?
I don't know.
Like a fire?
Oh yeah, maybe. Anyone got some fire hands?
Yeah, I could probably do something about that.
At this point, can I like rush back to them?
Yep, absolutely.
Skiff, what are you doing over there?
Feline agility.
There's a tar monster.
And just look at them and go, nope. Not worth it. A, there's nothing except for glowing mushrooms and some water. Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Hold on. Can you detect magic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean your Eldritch Sight basically works whenever you'd like to turn it on or see through your vision. Basically, you roll your eyes back, and the entire world around you within 30 feet sort of like glows like a bluish X-ray of the world around you, and you sort of see certain things like light up around you and certain objects. You notice as Skiff passes by you, he and certain objects on him are dimly lit and throwing off this like odd like yellowish orange aura about him. And as you look to this stalagmite, not on the surface level, but deep down in the ground beneath it, you see this liquid-like form that is lightly lit as well. Not too heavy as far as magic items go, but it definitely has some light to it, and it is just slowly moving around underneath the earth.
Alright, well, if that's the case, I want to book it past it while like watching out for him. And I want to go check this back room.
Okay, so as you reach back there, you start to hear water dripping about, and you see a tiny waterfall spewing into a small little pond in the back of the cave. Next to it, you see a stretch, like a 10-foot stretch, 5 feet deep, of these glowing mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're just strewn about in the cave, growing and simply feeding off the moisture that's coming from this waterfall.
But I don't detect anything magical.
Not from this region, no.
Alright. Yeah, I'll just head back to the group.
Okay.
Yeah, what did you see?
Exploring, or should we fight this thing? I mean, it seems like it's magical, but it's hiding deep within the rocks.
Well, maybe if we sneak around, we won't disturb it.
Is this a pathway to somewhere else, or is it just a wall?
You can investigate if you'd like. It is a pathway.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go through it.
Okay, so it's about a 5-foot wide tunnel, much like the rest of the place. You head down it for about 2 minutes, and after about 100 feet, it breaks out and opens up to this small opening in the middle of the forest outside.
So it's
And
just
sort of on like the east side of the hill that you were at.
Anything interesting out there, or is it just
Just forest. More of what you saw outside the front of the cave.
Good escape plan.
Gonna try and sneak back again, keeping an eye on that thing.
Okay, as you were gone, Bayoth happens to notice that he's keeping a close eye, or not Bayoth, Skiff was keeping a close eye on the stalagmite, and every once in a while he thought he could tell that something had moved, but not quite sure, as if it was there for a second and then gone again, and had this uneasy feeling that something was watching him as well.
Oops, didn't mean to do that.
Sorry. But as you exit that area, everything seems to be, nothing seems to surprise you, and you regroup with everybody else.
Yep, I'm just walking away from that, getting back to the entrance of the pathway.
Okay.
Alright, I say you lead the way, we follow. You've got the nose.
I will bring up the rear.
Actually, I want to head over up here and get behind that wall, peer through.
Okay. As you look through, there appears to be pretty tight entrance to a cave, or further tunnels into the cave. Eventually, it rounds a corner, and you can't see much.
Is there enough area right here that I can basically get behind that to peer down in this area?
Give me a stealth check.
Nat 20.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you sneak in there, and you catch ahead of you basically this fork in the road, or fork in the tunnel. As you can see, there's a small, tiny entrance right about here, whereas the rest of the tunnel heads off in to the right.
I'm gonna still stealthily move like against that wall, peer around it.
Sure. So you can see sort of ahead of you. Hang on a second. To the right, you see it's sort of opening up into a larger room, with another sort of pathway down to the south. But just south of you, to the left, the trail to the left, seems to curve around a corner and head a little bit deeper. But you see like another edge of the wall there.
Move against this wall, or this corner, like right there, and peer around it.
Okay, since you had a stealth, so as you peer around, you catch sight of a goblin who is sitting there, and they're beneath. You can actually see a single beam of light coming straight down, right in front of them, and it's sort of lighting them up just a little bit. The beam of light coming obviously from the ceiling, in a small hole up above them. This goblin looks sort of like with his arms crossed and somewhat pouting up against the wall.
I'm gonna look back at them and be like put one finger up saying like one, and kind of do like a almost an enactment of a goblin.
I'm gonna put my hand on him, and I'm gonna say,
Bayoff, I need a stealth check with disadvantage.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm telling you. You have a big ass fucking light.
But first, I'm gonna need 2 seconds. But roll that stealth check.
Character sheet. I gotta get the night vision.
With him walking up to me, can I have like a reaction of getting my scimitar ready?
Well, 12 might make it.
Yeah, but I don't want to take that chance. If I see you walking up with all that light, I'm immediately gonna be getting my scimitar ready.
So you see Bayoff just come like trudging up the path with this torch out, and you're still watching. You're watching the goblin as you see the light sort of like appear in the area, and the goblin doesn't seem to notice. By the time you reach back and you pull your sword and you start to like hold Bayoff back, and you're like, stay where you are. But it doesn't seem like the goblin has noticed.
Thank fucking God.
I'm gonna tell him, why don't you attack him from the ceiling? Like a spider.
What?
I can't crawl up walls.
He's a cat.
Oh, well, I can make you. I'm gonna touch. Make the best of it.
All right, and with that,
Did
he
you get some
takes
bitumen?
Bayoff reaches into this jar that he had, and takes sort of like dips his finger in and wipes it on the back of Skiff's, like just wipes it on Skiff's back as he reaches out to him, and
Then I slap a spider on it.
and pulls a spider out and like smears that on as well, and Skiff is just kind of like, oh.
No, I'm
Like,
gonna be glaring at him.
It feels like snot just wiped on the back of his jacket.
Yeah, and I'm
I know,
gonna
that
be
sounds weird,
glaring
but
at
try
him.
it out.
You'll get this like intense like, you know how if you piss off a cat, it gives you like this glare. Yeah, that's what you see.
You pissed off a cat.
It's gonna poop in your bed tonight.
All right, I guess I'll climb up the wall and kind of onto the ceiling. And if my stealth is still in effect, I'm basically gonna climb the ceiling, so I'm basically right above him. And I wanna-
Yeah, so you make your way up the side of the wall, and this cavern area here is about 7 feet high. The goblin being about a 3 foot high humanoid doesn't seem to notice 4 feet above him is this cat creature who's just slowly scaling the ceiling across to him. I mean, he's definitely not expecting something to come from the entrance there and crawl across the ceiling.
And the whole time in my mind I'm going, Spider Cat, Spider Cat. He can do whatever Spider Cat can do. And I'm gonna drop with my scimitar right onto him.
Okay, are you striking or just landing on him?
Like I'm trying to stab him as I'm falling down onto him with the scimitar.
Okay, give me a strike with the scimitar.
Do I get advantage?
Definitely. Right?
It is a sneak attack. Yeah.
So that's a 22
So 22.
with
So that definitely does it. With 9 slashing. This goblin
Oh,
literally
slice him
did
in
not
half,
see
slice
it
him in half.
coming. What's that?
Slice him in half.
Yeah, as you come down and basically just draw your sword straight through it, your scimitar straight through it, and it just kind of like, you know, there with its crossed arms, just suddenly just, thunk, and the two halves peel apart.
and that's what a Spider Cat can do. And walk back out here.
Well, I'm here a sickening crunch. And I'm gonna come in.
And I just look at
Skip,
Bale.
while you were there, you happened to hole in the ceiling. Since you were up there, you took a quick glance up, and you saw that the hole itself, it led about 20 feet up, and there you could see daylight coming straight down. It's a bit of a chimney of a rock formation that led upwards.
So it's sunlight, not like firelight that I was seeing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see the blue sky up there.
Okay. And I look at Bath and just give him a thumbs up, and continue to get to this corner.
Marin, I'm gonna jump to you. You said you were approaching before Skiff takes that corner.
Mm-hmm. I was what?
You were saying something?
Oh, I was just saying I was gonna move up because I heard the sickening crunch.
Okay. And Mardo, I assume you're doing the same. You're just kind of falling behind.
Yep.
Okay, Skiff, back to you.
Again, moving up to that corner, to peer
Get on
around.
the ceiling.
Yeah, crawl around.
Yeah, now rip around on the ceiling. Like the best of it.
Yeah, are you on the ceiling right now? Or are you
You know,
on the
fuck it.
ground?
Yeah, I'm gonna crawl around on the ceiling.
Spider Skiff. Spider Skiff.
Okay, so to the left of you, as you approach this corner, you see another sort of tunnel heading down this way, or heading down to the south. However, to the right of you, as you slowly peer around the corner, you see a whole lot of activity. You see a whole slew of rats, like giant rats. Like we're talking like a little bit bigger than a football, and they are tearing apart a human skeleton, and behind it you see behind that you see 2 female goblins sort of standing there, like snickering at the activity going on in front of them, and 1 male goblin sitting in this like sort of like ramshackle throne, who's just, you know, cackling away and amused at what's happening in front of him.
So there's 2 female goblins right there.
Yes, except one of them is on the wrong layer. Yep.
Okay. While still on the ceiling, I'm gonna move back over here and kind of whisper in the lowest tone I can to the rest of the group so they could hear, and let them know that there's 3 goblins and a bunch of big ass rats, and and a dead
RUSs, rodents of unusual size.
to
Use my shatter attack.
James got it. Princess Bride, come on.
Anyways,
Either way, I let him know what I saw and what direction it was.
I think you should sneak up and hit him with like at least 2 area attacks.
I hate rats. Let's get him. Yes.
Area attack and shockwave.
I'm moving back.
Doesn't Enmaro have some fire?
Yeah, I can use Burning Hands.
Oh, get in there. Set him on fire.
I wave a stick back over, and I ask them if they have a light over there, or if I need mine.
Have a what?
Do they have light in that area, or do my light?
You're echoing super hard.
So I think it's Chris, because he doesn't have a headset on. Because if I mute Chris, the echo goes away.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's probably my speakers. Yeah, I guess I am the only one without a headset. So the question was asked though if there are torches in the back area there, if there's any source of light. The goblins have dark vision, so they don't need any light or anything. So it's completely dark back there. So the only source of light right now is the beam of light coming down in this small area and Beath's torch.
We can change that on Mardo.
Oh yeah.
Light them all up.
I'm gonna get in there. Any objections? I look around to the group.
Yeah, go ahead, sneak around the corner and
I'll look at Enmardo. Like, I can also do another Thunder Wave along with your attack. 2 area attacks right off the bat.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna whip out my rapier. And
I'm just gonna stand ready. Back over here.
we're gonna get going. Yar!
All right, who's making the first move?
Can I sneak?
We wanted to kind of time it with Skip and then Nardo.
All right.
Same time. Also,
Would I-
Skip, you're on the ceiling. Can't
Would I
get
be?
there.
Would I be able to sneak right here on the ceiling?
Sneak all the way into there?
On the ceiling, right here.
Yeah, so this cavern, it starts to peak upwards, and it gets about a 10 feet high at this point. You rolled really well stealth earlier, so I'm going to continue that. You were very incredibly quiet. You're using your cat-like reflexes and your new spider climb ability to really slowly make your way across and slowly into that room, like right into the midst of everything going on beneath you.
I'll go right there. And Mardo, you have dark vision, right?
Right.
Would he be able to see me? At all?
Would who be able to? And Mardo? Yeah, of course. From this.
Well,
Actually, guys, give me half a second.
basically, Mardo, you're gonna see me like count down from 3 with my fingers.
I was just thinking that.
And basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop down and immediately cast Thunder Wave because it's a 15-foot cube originating from me.
Yeah, mine's a 15-foot cone.
Yeah, but you might get burned by him then.
No, I'm 20 feet away.
Oh
from
no,
him.
20 feet.
Alright.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. I was really concerned about that
So,
volume
Oh, no.
issue, the echo. So
Sean, will you talk for a second?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not hearing
That's
it
way
anymore.
better.
um,
No, I'm sorry, everyone.
No, it's okay.
Looks like I'm upgrading my speakers.
so here's my quick question. The Thunder Wave,
And your graphics.
it's a 15-foot cube originating from me.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be in front of me or just all around me?
Oh, it is all around.
Okay. Alright, that's why I just wanted to make sure. So if I drop, everything in this area except for Enmardo is going to be hit by it.
anything unless it is outside your distance or around a corner or something like that, well protected.
Hold on, let me try and get rid of that. Didn't mean to hit the draw button. So this is 15. This is a 15 thing too. So it won't hit me. Mine won't hit him, but it hits everything here. Just wanted to clarify that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what Edmardo will see is me counting down from 3. And as soon as I drop my last finger, I drop down from the ceiling and cast Thunderwave immediately.
And then Mardo casts his fire.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and roll for both.
Well, they all have to roll DC 12. Constitution.
Yep.
And I don't know what Edmardo's does.
Hold on one sec. I didn't. Oh, come on.
Ooh, his is DC 13.
So I am gonna roll those. No, you know, I'm just gonna group them all together. And you know what? I'll take a disadvantage on both of them because you guys are basically coordinated. You're hitting at the same exact time. They're getting just that double whammy. So you count down, and all in an instance. Skiff, are you dropping from the ceiling, or are you?
Yeah, he's
Well,
dropping.
wait, if it's a 15-foot cube, and you said it's 10 feet high?
10 feet high.
Oh, fuck no. I'm staying up there.
Okay. Let me just measure something.
Here you are fine. That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Thunderous clap.
Okay. So technically, because you're staying on the ceiling, all of the rats that are on the far end are free of your thunder wave. Just from simply the distance spread between them, they're like right on the edge of it. However, those ones are directly in the flame cone that is coming flying out in this 15-foot gap. So nobody is safe. Essentially, they all just nailed horribly by everything that's going on. So let's see. Your thunder is a 9 damage, and burning hands is an 8.
Not to mention they're also flowing 10 feet away from me. So they're just pounded to the ground.
Bath and I are in the background just giggling at the fire and sparks and...
Yeah, you just hear this like loud, thunderous boom and just this like just sound of heavy fire blasting through an area. As just the entire area, you can feel heat and light just come bursting out of that room, all in an instant.
And it's like a firework with crackling rat finish.
Yeah.
Spider cat. He can do whatever spider cat can do.
Is the last one still alive?
Yeah, so you see the whole room just light up and just boom away, and the 2 female goblins are just tossed against walls, and just you can see their bodies just immediately just kind of go limp and smush against the rocks. The rats that were below are crushed between the heat wave and the thunder wave, and they're just incinerated and just destroyed, burnt to a crisp.
The rat barbecue
of rat hair is just everywhere.
How bad does it smell in there right now?
Oh, it is. You know what? You know what though? It's actually not nearly as bad as the the dead ogres and the splayed open body of an ogre after Bayoth had taken the heart out. So it's almost welcoming at this point to what you had before.
What about?
However, you do see that the one goblin, the male goblin who, sitting in his throne, he gets thrown back against the wall. Knocks his head pretty good, but he's still seems to be moving after all of that has happened.
Well, I'm gonna march in with Bayoth beside me.
Is the throne destroyed?
I think we got an initiative roll at this point.
Can we march in? We're not in the room.
I'm gonna say with that like just instant blast that it's like snake attack he's not taking a turn immediately. Like he's shook up. He's definitely confused as to what's happening.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna come in and just get him with the old taser face, Eldritch Blast.
Taser face.
Right back into the wall.
Yeah, I mean, he basically like is like half blinded, not sure what's going on, definitely concussed from the blast, and he just kind of like looks up and like what, and immediately he sees this blue halfling like immediately in his face, who is rattling this prayer drum thing in his face and just looks towards him, and just this burst of light comes, and there's no longer any pain as he just fades off and is molten into the side of the cavern there.
Nice.
Is he dead?
Oh, he's dead.
Oh,
Very
nice.
dead, very peaceful.
All right. Here's my question though. With the thunderous blast, because anything that's not secured is tossed 10 feet as well. Did I destroy the throne? That's the important thing.
Yeah, the throne was basically like a stalagmite, like chopped down. Like they just kind of like crushed it with a hammer, so it was just kind of like rocks. But yeah, you see a lot of like the bones and stuff that were there are just kind of like strewn about.
Just gonna waltz up and sit on the throne. But yeah.
Can we see into there?
Yeah, you take a peek in.
No rest for the weary.
And you see a whole bunch of bones behind these stalagmites here are sort of like blocking the area. But as you peek in, there's a whole bunch of bones, and in the back corner you see this woman who is just you're not even sure of what it is, to be honest. It's covered in just like filthy rags and blood, and she's grabbing her ears at this point and just sort of like shaking there as the concussive blast from the thunder wave obviously just echoed through that small chamber and just shook her, and even just the torment of the last few hours of what's happened with everything that's going on. She doesn't look well.
Here's my question: can I drop down from the ceiling and land like Spider-Man does his landing?
Hero landing, just the one arm down. Yeah.
Yep.
Does he have to roll for that?
Yeah. Yes.
And I'll just look at Mare and be like,
give me a dexterity check, for hero landing.
Dexterity check?
Yeah.
Oh
Give me
my
athletics.
God.
Athletics,
Athletics.
Or fine. Yeah, one or the other. Yeah, he passes 10.
Oh, yeah,
no, he does a
that one.
He lands, and you sort of like your arm slips out from you a bit, and you land a little bit like harder than you thought. And you just kind of like you can hear a bit of a gasp as you just drop that 10 feet down, and you're like, I'm good.
And I still look up to her and go, meow, motherfucker.
It's a good thing you didn't roll a 1. You might have yourself a little.
You could hear that like little tinge of like pain. Like his knees are gonna feel that.
I'm just gonna roll my eyes and, twirl my rapier around and sheath it.
I'm just gonna say, follow us. We're here to clear out the rest of the goblins and bring you back to the town with the rest of the townsfolk.
The woman, her eyes are closed and she's curled up. She doesn't respond at all.
Uh-oh. Can somebody pick her up?
I could pick her up with a chilling touch, but it's like an unholy dead hand that starts.
Oh no, I meant like pick her up and carry her to the cart. I guess I'll do it since maybe she'll be weirded out by a spider cat and a tiny leprechaun with a weird prayer wheel. Unless Enmardo wants to do it.
Could I send Relix to go like cheer her up?
I'm feeling it's not cheering up.
So
like to soothe her, basically.
Beath leaves and Relix moves in and starts to just kind of purr and touch her, and she seems to just like skitter away and coil back into the ball that she's in. You know, she can't exactly. I mean, she's. You notice she's a human woman. It's very dark in the area that she's in, and her ears are clearly hurting at this point.
Shouldn't be dark. Freaking Beath's damn flame lights up everything.
Well, I mean, if you look at, I mean, yes, there's a giant 20-foot circle around him, but like if you look at the pattern of the wall and everything else is there, that she's still sort of in the shadows, and she's been in the dark the last few days.
I've got it. I'm gonna walk up to her, and I'm gonna give her a teddy bear. Because for some reason I have a teddy bear in my inventory. It's for this occasion.
Yeah, I can't remember why you had that. But no, you picked it up in town.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so she sort of like looks up at you, and you're you know, the torch is there, and she's both shielding her eyes and her face, but after a few moments she sort of recognizes your face and your awkward like halfling like smile, like as you're like holding out this teddy bear to her with this, you know, just all blue face, and she's sort of like unsure of what's happening, but honestly you're not a goblin and you're holding out a teddy bear, so she reaches out to it and takes it and like slowly just comes out of her shell and you know, like slowly like raises to her feet.
It's like Beath's made a new friend.
Are you here to save me? Are they gone? And she seems to be like yelling a bit as she's like, you know, like kind of like tweaking her ear from what's going on.
You must calm down. There are still more left. We're clearing out the rest of them out of this cave, but we've already brought all the other townsfolk back. We're gonna take you with us, but we need you to be quiet and just stay behind me.
Just kind of. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta remember she's got.
I think I hear you.
Ringing in her ears.
What?
Alright, you guys lead, I'll follow up the rear with her.
Chris, I was trying to move up against that wall. That's what I was trying to do, but my character kept switching between the two.
Oh, can I search the goblins?
Yes, you can. So as you look through the goblins, have your basic sorry, let me just double check something. Yeah, they basically have their basic weapons and some decent leather armor on them. A little bit better off than the rest of the goblins that you've seen in here. A little bit nicer. These are obviously of a higher rank than the other goblins that you saw. On them, they're surprisingly nothing of major weapons, but you definitely swords, some spears, some different shields and things like that. A lot of like guard equipment, things that you see on guards, helmets, stuff like that. That's sort of like piled up and spewing around about the room. On the goblins themselves, you find about 5 gold pieces
Nice.
amongst all of them.
All right. I'll take those gold pieces. Oops.
Otherwise, you just find a whole bunch of burnt rat
Ew.
and some human remains that have just been strewn about.
Gross.
Um,
Roll20 is being real weird right now. There we go. Got it. We're in the money.
Spider cat.
All right.
Spider.
I'm gonna sneak up behind Skiff.
Okay. Yeah, Skip, you see down this hallway, and you sort of see a clearing. Marin saw this region before, and not you, but you sort of see the cave sort of open up a little bit, but not much else going on down there.
Crawling up to the roof again, because that's where Spider Cat's gonna live from now on. And I'm gonna move in this intersection if it allows me to. Basically, right there.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so you, again, you just see further down here, the area opens up.
Do not see anything in here.
So you notice that the wall there, there is large, like, rocks and everything, in that area. And you notice that there doesn't seem to be, like, that wall doesn't seem to be like the rest of the walls. There's like a large boulder edge that's sort of blocking the path.
From floor to ceiling?
A little bit closer down to the floor.
Yeah, because I'm up in the ceiling, remember?
Right.
All around. So I wouldn't see anything like above it.
No, because it seems to be just like locking off this tunnelway.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't like this. It doesn't reach all the way to the ceiling there. But there's definitely just something like almost like a doorway, and a large boulder blocking up that spot.
But is it like from like the top of it? Do I see kind of like a pathway leading this way?
No, it's sealed off.
Okay. That's why I was asking if it was like completely sealed from floor to ceiling.
Oh yeah. No, it's essentially sealed off.
Okay.
Marin asks if what he sees down there.
I'll just move
Skiff.
forward.
All right, we're gonna go. Come on.
Alright.
And still on the
Strange
ceiling.
wall here.
I'm moving all the way down there.
Hey.
Detect magic.
Yeah. So you detect magic. You see in front of you this thick blue sort of element of the rock wall, but behind it a little ways you detect something that is has a definite glow to it, and it definitely seems that there's magic essence behind this.
I wanna
Mardo, wave our
check
little
the
leading
rock
sword.
to see if I can find like a trigger or a mechanism to somehow open it.
All right, give me an investigation.
Ooh.
Perception's fine.
Oh, sorry.
It's a big rock. I mean, there's no triggers. There's nothing. It seems to be like this large boulder in the way.
And Mardo,
Maybe
where?
go down
Where's
further
our?
to open up.
Where's the woman?
She's just kind of like following behind
Okay.
kind of like feeling around and trying to stay kind of close to the torch that's lighting the way.
I was
Told her
making
to
sure
stay
she
right
was still
behind
coming.
me.
What was that?
I was just making sure she was still coming.
Okay.
So again, fallen skiff.
Okay. Skiff, as you enter that area, you hear some more running water as the cavern in that area sort of opens up. There's a column in the center of rock, but otherwise it opens to a small pool of water on the southern corner of the wall, and to the east is sort of the passageway back to that main hall.
All right.
I'm just gonna whisper to Skiff, "Be careful.
With
There are some goblins up ahead."
if I'm not noticing anything right before I take off again, I'm basically gonna wave them, like, basically wave at them saying, "Hey, you can go through. There's nothing bad." And I'm
Yep.
on the ceiling still, gonna get over there.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, kind of more towards that side of the wall.
Yeah, so you see the water sort of like running out and sort of filling the entire width of the cave or the tunnel area there and running off into the distance.
Okay. With that, what I'm gonna do, because I am kind of more interested in this blocked area, I'm gonna climb down the side of the wall, down so I'm actually on the floor again. Walk back up here, let them know all there is just a stream down here, nothing really important, nothing carrying, and basically move back to that that boulder. And I want to see if there's anything I can do to figure out how to get that boulder out of the way, whether there's a secret mechanism or if it's loose enough that we could either push it or destroy it.
Okay. There's a bit of shuffling around. This is a very like sort of tight walkway here, and as you're like moving back, kind of like when you need to, you like hop back on the wall and scuttle around. The woman who you're with is sort of like again staying close to like Bayot, like holding his shoulders almost, and she sees you just like scurrying around and doing your business, and kind of like, oh okay, and as you move through here, but otherwise it's pretty tight quarters, so you're like kind of bumping into each other and whatnot.
Yeah.
But again, you're back at the you're back at this boulder. And Mardo there is as well, and Mardo's there as well, just kind of taking a look at it. Neither of you can see any sort of like lever or other actions to take on this wall.
I'll look at Mardo, kind of put out my fist like, that was an awesome fucking combo. And then just look at the thing and be like, do you want to just smash it down?
Smashy, smashy.
I just give Skiff a thumbs up.
You could send the rabbit in.
I have shatter. It's kind of like shockwave. Or I have a move similar to your shockwave attack.
Thunderwave.
Thunderwave.
I don't feel like expelling another spell on this.
Anyone got mining equipment?
Hold on. I have 100 ball bearings.
Okay.
Good one. No.
So it's literally just a freaking stone that's in the way.
As far as you can tell, it is just like a boulder.
So even if I did
Wait,
do
is there any,
perception
like-
to check,
I have a
for,
crowbar.
a secret way.
Oh, you have a crowbar?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's jam
Get
that
in there.
crowbar in there, and we're all gonna try and force on it together.
This is gonna break my crowbar.
No. Metal's stronger than stone.
Can
But
I
how's that gonna
perceive-
work? Because the rock's not gonna move out of the way.
Can I perceive the like how loose this
Can
rock
we
is?
knock it over?
Yeah, give me perception.
Or if we even roll it back a little bit?
13.
Yeah, I mean, you see a seam along the whole edge there. I mean, it is tight, but it seems like it's just.
Is it like the bottom edge, top edge,
It
side
seems like
edge?
it's just a rock in the way.
I'll look at it, Mardo. Do you want to just try pushing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll try and push it together.
Why don't we
Alright,
push it and get on the crowbar too?
One of you give me a strength check with advantage.
Mine's -1, so not me.
And Mardo?
Hold on one sec.
Why can't I find it?
You just click on
Or
strength.
even athletics check too.
A list of stuff.
The first one's fine. So the two of you find an edge on or get on either side of it, and you heave your shoulders into it, and you get low, and you find that without really a whole lot of effort, this rock just slowly pushes back and opens up to a small cavern on the inside.
Sweet.
Very, very anticlimactic for all of the thought you guys put into it.
Alright, well, let's take inventory of everything in the room. Oh, actually, I'm grabbing that magical item I see right
So
now.
as you get inside, Mardo and Skiff are pushing the boulder to the side, and Bayoff kind of like pushes his way in. You find inside is an 8 foot high room, about 15 foot wide at its widest. You see in the back corner is sort of like a grassy, nice, fluffy kind of palette of kind of loose bedding, I guess. And next to it is a battered wooden chest and a very rusty lock on it.
Okay, here's my first question. John, are you, like, as we're pushing through the rock,
Yeah.
are you trying to get in there, like, as fast as possible?
Yes.
Okay, if you're running in there while we're pushing the rock, as we're pushing, I want to kick him. To, like, get him out of the fucking way so we can finish pushing the rock.
Challenge dexterity.
What, his versus mine or something?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's a
just rolled a
20.
20.
It's a natural 20. So, good luck on trying to beat that. Yeah.
It wasn't a natural 20, but it is a 20.
Unnatural.
Unnatural 20, yeah. So yeah, Bayoff starts to run his way in there, and as Skiffin and Mardo are like rotating the corner with this boulder, he notices the back of his eye and like throws a leg out, and Bayoff trips over it and basically just lands in that bedding, but like just clean on his face and just hits the ground there.
Yeah, like if he was trying to push his way in while we were trying to push the rock, I'm definitely taking action to that. Like, A, you smeared something on me. B,
You got to be Spider Cat.
how was I supposed to know that was going to happen? All I felt is some snot being wiped on me. And B,
You realized it afterwards.
you're bothering us while we're trying to push a heavy, big-ass rock.
All right, boys, stop fighting. What do we got in here?
Where's the magical item?
So you notice that again that wooden chest is there with a rusty lock on the front. And
Rusty lock.
Bayoff specifically can tell that there is something magical inside there.
Rusty locks are my specialty.
Damn. I tried hitting the lock with my club.
It falls right off.
Nice.
It's purely just it's for show.
Here we go.
So open it up, and inside you find a whole collection of items. You find, first off, on the top, a matching pair of silver salt and pepper shakers. You find underneath that, blood-stained, heavily stained leather case containing a complete set of thieves' tools, lockpicks and such. Under that is a holy silver symbol of Sylvanas, carved from wood and inlaid with gold. Sylvanas being is basically like a really, really nice, ornate oak leaf that has like gold inlaid in it for the stem, and the detail of the oak leaf is all in gold. Underneath that is a deep red colored robe with nice gold trim around it. And a faint scent of brimstone. Underneath all of that and scattered about throughout the chest, you find 12 gold pieces, 55 silver pieces, and 87 copper pieces just loosely floating about.
So wait, do I smell brimstone? Actual brimstone, or is it just the smell of brimstone on the rope?
It's yeah, you catch like this heavy scent of brimstone as soon as he opens up the chest.
I'm immediately searching for brimstone.
You can see Skiff's nose start to like, go around, and he's like pushing around and sniffing about. At the same time, both you and Bayoth, who's looking for a magical item, you both land on the red cape.
Uh-oh.
So the red cape is what's giving off the brimstone smell.
Yeah.
All right. I turn away and walk basically back to the entrance right here. The path.
Okay.
So you don't want the cape?
I don't care. All right. Put it this way. My character has no stock in wealth. So I don't care about like magical items unless it has to do with druidism that I would know.
Can I see what type of magic it has? Can I do like an arcane check or something to see if it offers any special abilities?
You will have to do a identify magic spell.
Ooh, I don't have one of those. Alright, so we gotta find somebody who knows identify magic then.
You can also use arcana knowledge to see if you can, like, if it might have been a magical item that you've heard of or know about.
Yeah, that way you could like find out the story behind it or something. Track it down.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't know this one.
I'm just gonna say that pirates
Grab
look
it
great in
anyway.
capes.
I'm
Okay.
gonna put it on actually.
Okay. Other than the immediate smell of that just brimstone, that burning smell, you don't notice anything different.
Is it like an hour that you have to attune to a magical item? Understand what it does?
Mhm.
Well, boys, we found the booty.
Yep. So all the other items, are you just giving them to Bayoth at this point?
No.
I was gonna say load it onto the cart.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not a lot. It's like a handful of things.
I'll take them.
Take that, take all the weapons, load it on the cart, we're gonna bring it back.
What weapons?
The goblin weapons. Even if they're crap, we can melt them down, make better stuff. Or sell them to the townsfolk. Scrap metal.
Chris, I'm gonna peer back around this corner and see if there's any other new movement in the main area.
Okay.
There's another room.
You don't really detect anything. By the way, guys, I'm giving you like a 5-minute warning, basically.
Yeah. Chris, there was one Sylvain.
The ornament, Sylvanus.
Sylvanus.
I know that language.
Ornament. I'm sorry. What else was in the thing? A bunch of gold.
Yeah. So the holy symbol of Sylvanus was basically wooden oak leaf with very nice intricate gold inlaid into it. The blood-stained leather case with the set of thieves' tools.
Yeah, I want that.
The silver salt and pepper shakers. The red robe that Bayoff is now wearing. And 12 gold pieces, 55 silver pieces, and 87 copper pieces. Now, what we could say is that you guys simply just pick the chest and walk the chest out.
Oh,
and in that case, you have you have a battered wooden chest as well. It's not in great condition, but it holds everything that you have.
I do like that. We could have it as like a community chest inventory.
That's fine with me. I would just wanted.
Cart now.
I wanted to write everything down, but I just got booted again from Roll20. So.
Okay. I can make sure those things are in your inventory. I can.
All right. Cool.
Copy and paste it over.
So head back to town and call it a session.
Yeah.
Should we check this one last spot quick, or?
No, I'm like pretty tired. I think there are some more goblins in there.
Alrighty. Let's head back then.
Okay, so gathering what you have and taking the last survivor with you. You also, I'll say, just because you mentioned it, you all just kind of gather up a small weapons and things like that you find along the way. It's not a whole lot, just a couple shields, couple swords, things like that, but a lot of it is battered. And you make your way out to the horse and cart, and you start off on your way back to Nightstone.
Sweet.
And that is where we are going to end it for the night. You guys did a phenomenal job, I think, this time of sneaking your way through and critical thinking on all of this.
Problem solvers.
So what you're saying is me and Edmardo should be level 4 now, while everyone else is still.
And it does just so happen that now that the cave is essentially cleared, you guys are level 4 once you've rested it off.
And I lean to Skiff and I tell him, hey, now how would you like to be invisible next time you're on the ceiling?
Invisible spider cat.
Invisibility cloak?
Some other stuff on you.
Invisibility or invisible spider cat. Invisible spider cat. He can do whatever invisible spider cat can do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to everybody who joined us tonight and watching us in the future, thank you all for joining us and taking some interest and sticking with us this long through the broadcast. I wish you a good night, good evening, good day, good morning, whenever you're watching this, and we're glad to have you guys. So, bye. If you guys want to stick around for half a second.